A good morrow to this fair assembly, my TJ scholars, and welcome to another Monday. Today, friends, April 12th, and that structure behind me is not Thomas Jefferson Elementary. You know what that means. Another episode coming. Hope everybody had a great weekend. And friends, listen, as we begin this week, I do want to look back at last week, and the big message that I have for all of you is a congratulations, a welcome back, but mostly just a thank you. Friends, you guys did such an awesome job. All of the plans that we put together, you all executed those plans beautifully. You did a great job wearing masks and keeping our hands sanitized and doing all those things. So excellent, excellent job. Friends, it's also true that so much of our reopening happened because of our awesome teachers. So the teacher that is in your room right now, let's be sure to thank them. And when you go to Encore, let's be sure that we thank our Encore folks. And here's a special one that is really, really, really important, guys. If you all see Miss Sylvia or any of our custodians, let's stop and be sure that we thank them because they have done amazing things. They've had to work so hard. So, major thanks to everybody and welcome back for week 2 of our full reopening. All right, now friends, just like we said last week, we're not really going to have a lot of new information on these video announcements because we can do that on our PA. I do want, though, to be sure that everybody is thinking a little bit about social distancing, okay? That was one thing, guys, that I think we did a really good job last week, but I think we can do better. Let's remember that we want to try to have 6 feet between us and anybody else when we are like sitting down outside at recess, when we're moving through the halls. I know that's kind of hard because we are looking forward to being close to our friends and talking, but that's how we can continue to stay safe. So let's make sure that we do a good job. 6 feet. 6 feet. Okay. So that takes us to where was Mr. Swanson last week? And this one's been a while because last week, or the week actually before last, was spring break. And you may remember that the announcements that we filmed there, you saw me up on this sort of bluff looking out over these mountains, and then I showed you a highway, and then I showed you, or I told you guys that I was close to the home of Appalachian State University, and you had 2 questions that you needed to figure out. One was, what were those mountains behind me? And then 2, that highway that I showed you, that road, what was that? And I think maybe I stumped you guys. I know it was also really busy, so maybe not every class had a chance to watch last week's announcements. But last week, I only had 2 classes that responded, and neither class got both of those questions right, okay? So let's start with the things that they did get right. Shout out to Mrs. Lauer's class, who was able to figure out that I was in Boone, North Carolina. And that's true, I was. Boone, North Carolina. Now, Mrs. McCann's class was able to figure out that that road that I showed you all was the Blue Ridge Parkway. And the Blue Ridge Parkway, friends, it is almost 500 miles long, and it is stunningly beautiful. Lots and lots of mountain ranges and just unbelievable views. So it's really, really cool. And what we saw last week was one of those views, okay? So the views that we saw last week, the mountains behind me, friends, those were the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. So where was I last week? I was at the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, traveling on the Blue Ridge Parkway. So nice job to Mrs. Lauer's class, nice job to Mrs. McCann's class, who was able to piece together some clues and figure out where I was. Now, let's take a look at where is Mr. Swanson this week. And the place that we're really concentrating on, guys, my location is the big tall structure that you see there behind me. And I'll try to move out of the way a little bit. Now, let me give you a couple clues here, okay? First of all, this month, guys, starting today, April 12th through May the 12th, is a very holy time for some of our Islamic friends, and the next 30 days or so are called Ramadan, and that is a holy Islamic holiday. So a lot of our Islamic friends are going to be celebrating Ramadan. And so the building behind me is kind of connected to Ramadan. Okay, let me give you a couple other clues. You guys may remember that there was an episode of Where is Mr. Swanson where we filmed at the zoo, right? The National Zoo. And the National Zoo is about 1 mile from where I am right now. Okay? And then here is your final clue. I am at a location in Washington, D.C. that is known as Embassy Row. Embassy Row, because there's lots and lots of embassies right around me, right? Okay, so the big question, where is Mr. Swanson, is what is that structure behind me? That is where I am. So there you go. The zoo's about a mile away. I'm in a section of DC known as Embassy Row, and it is Ramadan. So, where is Mr. Swanson? All right, my friends, let's get it started. Just like always, guys, we want to be safe, and one of the ways we can be safe, friends, again, let's keep up the great job with mask wearing, hand washing, and social distancing. So we can be safe, let's be respectful, let's be responsible, just like every single day, no matter where we are, boys and girls. Let's do some good today. Have a good one, Tigers.